Alright guys, welcome back to Formula 1 news. After the rumours circulating the last couple of weeks that Binotto is out of Ferrari, a big news source today practically says this is a done deal. While Ferrari haven't confirmed it as of recording, they reckon the announcement is imminent that Binotto is leaving Ferrari and is effectively being forced out of his role of team principal. Very much interested your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. We saw a few days ago then the rumours around this circulated. Ferrari did a statement on it 10 days ago saying the following: Ferrari states these rumours are totally without foundation. When you see this, you can be pretty sure that something is going on. I'm sure they didn't want to kind of make things muddy before the final race in Abu Dhabi, but now things are getting serious. This came out earlier today from Italian media, and these aren't just nobodies, right, that are reporting this. These are guys with serious sources inside Ferrari that report on this stuff, have done in the past, and will do in the future. And they reckon Binotto leaving Ferrari is a done deal, and the official confirmation is just a matter of time. This is a really interesting discussion on Binotto, whether he should stay, whether he should go, whether he should return to a technical role, if he's going to resign from his position, basically forced into resignation. Would he step down into kind of a technical position in the team? That's where people think he might be best fit. Or would he think, you know what, screw you guys, I'm going to go elsewhere to a different organization, to a different team, maybe help Sauber when they become Audi to kind of build up their car, I suppose, in the future. There's some big questions around this. But yeah, does Binotto deserve the sack is really the question. Now, it's still unclear because Giuliano De Kesa from Formula Uno, he has his own sources, and he said the other day that most of the team is quite happy with the stability, right? They're quite happy with Binotto. He's managed to help them get to a point where they can deliver a decent car, have a decent challenge for the fight as they did this season for the title, and the engineers, the guys like that are pretty happy with the stability and want a little bit more, consistency really at Ferrari and not the chaos that's been happening several years. I mean, they've had, like 4 team principals since 2014, whereas Mercedes, Red Bull, same guy for a long time at this point, and that stability does pay dividends. And at Maranello, where they make the cars and stuff, this situation is not fully understood. There's even a strange calm. Nobody between the team or factory knows, gathering mixed feelings. So, yeah, we'll see if there's going to be a position confirmed by Ferrari. And apparently Binotto is still today at the factory or in charge of meetings on the 675, the next generation of Ferrari's car for next year. So what's going on? We don't fully know, but these sources are likely to be very good indeed, just because, well, they go on to say the following: he is leaving due to a lack of trust from the president, with whom the relationship has been cold for a while. The news has come from sources linked to Charles Leclerc's entourage. Very interesting. And this is kind of the key point here. It seems to me that Ferrari want to ensure 100% guaranteed they keep Leclerc. They think Leclerc is the golden boy. They think he's the guy to bring them another World Drivers' Championship, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But they're on the verge of forcing him out, right, by poor decisions, strategy, and just frustrating Leclerc over certainly the last season. Fred Vasseur is the realistic candidate, with Andreas Seidel, of course, of McLaren, saying no. So if they have the confidence to put out here that Andreas Seidel has declined the opportunity, that kind of confirms beyond a reasonable doubt that Binotto will be gone. As I say, will he be gone completely from Ferrari? Will he step back into a technical position where he probably fits best? It's kind of tough to say. But yeah, seemingly the confidence from the executive, the president, John Alcon, isn't there anymore, and he's going to be effectively forced into resignation. Probably doesn't want to resign, but they want to get rid of him. And apparently this is due to their intentions of keeping Leclerc. This is the thing. Leclerc, his frustrations over the season have evidently grown with Ferrari and Binotto. Of course, after Silverstone, he wasn't very happy. After Monaco, he certainly wasn't very happy. There's been a few occasions like that. Even there were rumours going around about 10 days ago that Leclerc and Binotto weren't really on speaking terms any longer. And like, as I say, that's probably hyperbole to a certain extent, but still, Leclerc, maybe his relationship with Binotto hasn't been pretty for a while. And, this season promised so much for Ferrari. If you look at a video that F1 TV did earlier today, looking at quali pace over the entire season, Ferrari had the quickest car in qualifying on average. And then you look at race pace, it was, well, Red Bull kind of leading the lines, but Ferrari not too far behind until the end of the season. So really, it was over the course of the entire year, some strategic errors and crucially some reliability problems, for example, in Baku and Spain, that really spelt the end for Ferrari's season and Leclerc's title challenge. And that's the thing. The last 2 years, 2020, 2021, were arguably written off by Ferrari to a certain extent to focus on the new regulations. They did well, they got it right, but now you'd think Mercedes will be catching up, and they arguably squandered their chance to win another championship. They kind of put it all, you could argue, on this season, and they failed to deliver. And Binotto is the man where that responsibility lies, and we've seen some confrontations between Leclerc and Binotto in the past. So for various reasons, Binotto is probably gone, and even Leclerc's been asked the questions lately, like, what about Mercedes? Mercedes, right? 2024, if a Mercedes seat becomes open, if Hamilton retires, then, how about joining them? And Leclerc said, no, I still want to be with Ferrari, but it's certainly not a guarantee that Leclerc stays with Ferrari for the next 3-4 years, and that seemingly is a key intention of Ferrari this season, to basically lock in the Leclerc extension. They want him to stay for another, however many years, get him on a Verstappen type contract. He probably won't do that, but they want to extend him, and that's a key feature of their plan for this season, Ferrari, and if that means getting rid of Binotto, then that's what it's going to take. And even the CEO says, I'm not satisfied with seconds. Second is the first of the losers. I'm happy with the progress being made, but I'm not happy with seconds. I think the team has what it takes to improve over time. And this is the question about this whole Ferrari thing. If you get rid of Binotto, does it actually make the team better, right? Because look, there's probably other members of the staff over there, certainly on the strategy side, that people say should be gone, but arguably it was Binotto's responsibility to get rid of those guys and make the hard decisions. Binotto probably didn't do that, and now he's going to pay the price for it. But getting rid of him, is that really the way to go? Bringing in more instability to this team, like seemingly the staff behind the scenes, the technical guys like Binotto. He probably isn't the perfect team principal, but forcing him to resign, it feels like you're losing something there from Binotto that he did bring to the team and did help them get some success that they had. Just didn't maybe have the full touches to be a top tier team principal like Horner and Toto Wolff, for example. And even his statements that he says the other day that strategy doesn't matter that much as long as you've got a quick and reliable car, which is true, but it does kind of echo the thing that Binotto said all season long, that no, our strategy isn't really a problem, people talk about it too much. And I just do wonder whether that philosophy has kind of pushed Ferrari the wrong way to say, is he really committed to us being number one in all aspects of the sport? Maybe not. Ferrari have apparently said about this that there's nothing official to say, but still, they're not saying now, Ferrari, that it's all speculation, guys, nothing to see here. They're now apparently saying nothing official, but stay tuned, basically, is the discussion. So Vasseur is the man to replace them. Just to mention this quickly from Karun Chanuk, of course, from the Sky Sports broadcast, will be ashamed to see Mattia Binotto go. Always found him interesting and willing to chat. He tried to create a no fear, no blame culture, and as part of that, he didn't make the changes that he should have. Changing the TP isn't the answer. They need wider restructuring. And this is the thing that is kind of interesting about Binotto, this no fear, no blame culture, right? Because we saw after a few races, whenever the team made some mistakes on strategy or, just operational, they put the wrong tyres on him, Binotto would never blame the team necessarily. He'd say, oh, okay, maybe that wasn't ideal, but we're gonna maybe work on it. Or he would often say things like, yeah, well, our strategy isn't really the problem. Like, okay, we make mistakes, but every team makes mistakes. It's like, I'm not sure that's the best way to go about it, because clearly there is an issue there, and it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and it's an issue that he hasn't addressed by firing certain members of that strategy crew and replacing them and restructuring the entire organization. He hasn't done that, and that culture that he tried to create has obviously kind of backfired to a degree. So yeah, don't know, I thought an interesting take here from Karun. We believe Fred Vasseur is going to be the man. Currently at Alfa Romeo, we think he's going to come into Ferrari. As we just saw, Andreas Seidel apparently has declined the role, so to stay at McLaren. So yes, I won't say anything he said a few days ago. You'll find out soon enough, and yeah, seems like we will. Of course, if you guys know anything about Fred Vasseur, been around the sport for a long time, with Hamilton back in the day in GP2 and GP3, I think even before that, but he was also with Charles Leclerc just a few years ago, when Leclerc was at Sauber, right? So in terms of keeping Leclerc happy, bringing him to Ferrari and then bringing Fred Vasseur to Ferrari might make a fair bit of sense as well. So, even Binotto's come out very recently with some discussions on the criticisms and, the difficult time he's had at Ferrari dealing with what's been distracting the team. So, look, I don't know, I feel bad for Binotto, really, if he does get the sack here, but you can kind of understand why. The thing is it actually, for the betterment of the team, because, like, Max dominated the season, Ferrari certainly helped him along their way. Like, as I say, that video earlier from F1 TV on that Jolyon Palmer did, it's like, how did Red Bull beat Ferrari? It was more like, how did Ferrari beat themselves? I still feel like Max would have won the championship, but it would have been much more interesting and close if some of the early races went a different way and Ferrari didn't do a Ferrari. But look, we see the most successful teams, Red Bull, Mercedes, they have the same guy in charge for a long time. They build the culture and they work off that. The instability at Ferrari has arguably been one of their downfalls over the last few years. They bring in Binotto, they keep him around for a few years. Okay, yes, some of the seasons didn't go to plan, some of them did pretty well, but then after actually delivering a decent result, getting to second, might be able to push for the title next year, then Binotto gets sacked. Is the entire ecosystem within, behind the scenes at Ferrari going to be happy with that? Because apparently a lot of the top brass wanted him to still stay, but clearly the president, and maybe for reasons of keeping Charles Leclerc around, want him gone. So yeah, again, it's an absolute circus there at Ferrari. And also you've got to wonder, how much power does Binotto have? As we've just discussed, right? Maybe there are people that need to be fired there in the strategy team. Does he have the freedom to do that? Does he have the freedom and the ability to make those calls? Because I know that people have drawn parallels between Ferrari and even Manchester United, right? Where certain managers get put in place and then they don't really have the ability to do what they want to do. A lot of it's dependent on the owners, and they don't really have the responsibility that people outside think they have, and therefore all of a sudden, you know, within a couple of years, the manager's got to get changed again, but really it's the fault of the guys higher up than the manager. Might be the same here for Binotto, with the decisions that's being made above Binotto, not necessarily from the man himself. But yeah, that's pretty much all we've got to discuss today. Spicy stuff, no doubt. And just to mention this before we close out here, because Ferrari almost had the most sessions topped of the season: practice, quali, sprint or race. Leclerc 44, Verstappen 54, Sainz 19, Perez 14, Russell 9, Hamilton 5, and then a lot of fun additions here. We saw, of course, Nicholas Latifi, that session back in Hungary, FP3, where he managed to top that session as well. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.